لكن تحديت الظروف وخضتها وحدي صبورا مستعينا بالصلاة. كم مرة عصف الأنين بداخلي، كم مرة قد ذاق قلبي من أساه محن تمر، وكم كرهت مصابها.
ومع تكبيرة إحرام صلاة الظهر بدأ الهجوم الغادر على حجيج بيت الله الحرام. تساقطت الجثث واحدة تلو الأخرى،
ثم ينزلون إلى أوساطهم ليذبحوهم أو ليطعنوهم، إما ذبحا بالسكاكين أو طعنا بالحراب أو الرماح.
ذبحوا 900 شخص مثلا، ذبح يعني حجاج متجهين إلى بيت الله الحرام وهم يتقربون إلى الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This video is continuing on from the playlist Who Are the True Followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, and now we are on part 4. Not to shock these Ultra Najdis, closet Takfeeris, because this is who we're going to be addressing. There will be a part 5 as well, so just to get that out there. Now, walillahi alhamdu wa minna, we have presented a extract from a documentary, and it's in connection to the Tanuma Massacre. Okay, the Tanuma Massacre, and as you can see, you've got, you know, a Takfiri bandit from the Najdiya slaughter one of the Hujjaj, as part of obviously what we're going to explain. I have to emphasize and stress, and I will not relinquish my position, that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab is the forefather of radicalism and extremism, and this phenomenon that we see today is due to his Takfiri methodology. And it's not a surprise, and all of you closet Takfiris, all you Ultra Najdis, deep inside your heart you know this, that he is the root, the source and the inspiration. This part will educate you regarding the Tanuma massacre that happened over, or just nearly 100 years ago, I think. Yeah, just nearly 100 years ago. And the Najdiya, or the Takfiriyun, slaughtered 3,000 Hujjaj. 3,000 Hujjaj. And the pretext of them slaughtering the Hujjaj was as it was during the early Da'wah to Najdiya. So when you see ISIS today, this is just a different name. The methodology and principle that they follow, especially this Takfiri methodology that they follow, principally goes back to Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab and the early Da'wah to Najdiya. So they might call themselves different names. Okay, they're going to call themselves different names, but in essence, it's all the way back to 1157, when the agreement between Muhammad bin Saud and Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab was made. Anyway, and then obviously it carries down. So obviously you got the early Najdiya, and then you got the Ikhwan, and then you got Juhayman, Al-Utaybi, and then now you got ISIS and their likes. So they slaughtered 3,000 Hujjaj indiscriminately. And the Yemeniyun have never forgotten about this. They've never forgotten about this to this day. And I watched the 40-minute documentary. Honestly, it makes you really, really angry and upset when you hear the accounts of the descendants of those who survived. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, show you that what happened in 1923, the early Da'wah to Najdiya in the time of Imam al-Shawkani, who's narrating this. I'm just showing you that this mindset hasn't changed. It's continuous, and it shows its ugly head every now and then. So as you can see on screen, we've got the book Al-Badr al-Tali', okay, by Imam al-Shawkani. And as you can see on screen, Imam al-Shawkani, and I'm just going to go into this briefly, that the Najdiyah saw that whoever's not under the Dawla of the Sahib al-Najd, now the Sahib al-Najd could be Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad bin Saud, it could be, Saud ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad bin Saud, it could be Abdullah ibn Saud ibn Abdul Aziz ibn Muhammad bin Saud, no matter who he is, Sahib al-Najd, meaning the ruler of Najd. And are not compliant and obedient, keyword, underline that one, are not compliant and obedient, are not under his command, okay, kharija anil Islam, okay, kharija anil Islam, that they have left the fold of Islam. Now this is what I get your attention to with the arrows over. And Imam Shawkani says that it's been informed to me that the Emir of the Hujjaj of Yemen, he and a group from amongst them spoke to the Najdiyah. They spoke to these bandits, these Takfeeriyun, and those who were with them from the Hujjaj of Yemen, and they said that they are kuffar, okay, they are kuffar, and they don't have any excuse to enter into, obviously, the Sahib al-Najd, to look at their Islam. Now you see this? To look at what? Their Islam. Okay? So coming back to me now. So you see that this is going back now, and Imam Shawkani died in 1250. This happened in 1923. Well, rephrase that. So 1250, that's Hijri. So 1923, 200 years after, so like 1400 and something, or 1300 and something, I can't really calculate it. At the time of Imam Shawkani, they actually didn't slaughter them, okay? They didn't slaughter them. But you know what? In another period of time, they actually slaughtered the Hujjaj of Yemen. So this wasn't, the Majzara of Tanuma wasn't the first occasion that they slaughtered the Hujjaj of Yemen. What's the proof for this? As you can see on screen, we've got the book Ad-Durar al-Sunniyah. Ad-Durar al-Sunniyah. So as you can see on screen, we've got a letter here, and the background is that Abdul Aziz bin Abdul Rahman Al Faisal wrote a letter to the ulama of the Najdiyah, asking them about some Sariya. Okay, asking them about some Sariya, as it says, "Tas'alu fihi amma jara min ba'd as-Sariya." So you're asking me about some of the Sariya which happened to the Hajjis of Yemen, meaning those Hujjaj of Yemen, or what happened from taking their wealth, okay, and spilling their blood. Okay, so the Najdiyah spilt the blood of the Hujjaj, okay, and they took their wealth. Same thing what they did at Tanuma. Coming back to me now. So you see, Imam Shawkani, what happened in his time when they said you guys are kuffar, etc. This is the early Najdiyah. Then you've got straight after, well, it doesn't say Alhamdulillah Atiq, I think this is the reign between Abdul Aziz and Saud ibn Abdul Aziz. Both were Takfiri bandits and bloodthirsty, leaders. But anyway, so I'm just showing you precedent here that what you find with ISIS, or what you find with Juhayman, or what you find with Al-Ikhwan, it's the same chain. It's just spiritual chain, you can say. So now let me show you an extract of the documentary which shows you the aftermath of the massacre of Tanuma.
تفاصيل مرعبة رواها من قدر لهم النجاة من هذه المجزرة.
مقتولا غدرا ذبحا وهو ذهب إلى بيت الله الحرام.
أكلتهم النسور أكلتهم وأكلتهم الكلاب.
Those who survived narrated some terrifying events, and on top of that, they left their body to rot. They left their bodies to rot, and the vultures were eating them, and the dogs. Okay, 3,000 slaughtered. Okay, slaughtered. And the God honest truth is this, that they actually know that the spiritual godfather of these Takfiri bandits is Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. He is the spiritual forefather. So at the end of the day, especially the mentally deranged freak, he knows it. But the problem is that they've been crude, they've been shrewd in how they have been propagating their da'wah. You follow a plastic, bogus, diluted version. If Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab was alive in our times, as I said before, he would be leading ISIS. I don't know why is this surprising to you. So let's show you another extract of the documentary, and they will now explain who was responsible for this مجزرة, this massacre.
سبب القصير بأن سبب المجزرة كان أيضا له بعد ديني عقائدي، أن هؤلاء الوهابيين كانوا يعتبرون جميع المسلمين الآخرين كفارا.
خشم قطاع ضرب. هؤلاء جاءوا مجموعة يعني أصحاب عقيدة وهابية، يعني أصحاب العقيدة الوهابية التي يعني نشأت مثلا في السعودية، يعني جيش أيديولوجي، جيش عقائدي يرى في كل شخص غير كافر يعني يتقرب إلى الله يعني بقتله، بإباحة دمه، بسلب أمواله.
What you just saw when they were taking the money from the dead bodies, and what they were stealing from, you know, the caravan, from the camels that were obviously carrying their goods, etc. Because they were going to Mecca, you know, they used to take their belongings with them. They took their wealth as ghanima because they declared they were mushrikun. They believed that they were mushrikun. And this ain't no surprise. This is what I'm saying. There's a YouTube channel called Knowledge North. I think the brother's name is Abdul Rahman. And he's obviously of that same persuasion. He's obviously a quote-unquote Salafi / Wahhabi / Najdi. And what he's going to explain in this video is about a brother who was well learned, okay, a Rebbe brother, studied in Medina, and then all of a sudden, dramatically, something happened in his life where he turned a new chapter. But what I'm going to show you is he just went back to the root. Have a watch.
Which brings me on to Sheikh Imran Latvi, Oleg Petrov.
В Коране также сказано, что тот, кто убил человека несправедливо, فَكَأَنَّمَا قَاتَلَ النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا.
He was the Imam of the Muslims of Latvia, charismatic, learned, a graduate from Medina's Islamic University, and local. Here he is appearing on national television. Being an ethnic Latvian convert, as was his wife and members of their extended family, he was the relatable, reasonable, qualified, well-spoken face of indigenous Islam in his country. Alas, here he is again in a Daesh propaganda video.
На самом деле, единственное наказание за издевательство над любыми исламскими ценностями является смертная казнь. И в этом не разногласит никто из мусульман.
He went from being a poster boy of Sunni Islam in Europe with no history of extremism to being a recruiting sergeant for the most egregious example of extremism in our time, the so-called Islamic State of Iraq and Sham.
So you heard, okay? So you were saying he joined Daesh, etc. Now look, my brother, the truth here is he just went back to the original roots. He is following his true principles, unlike you. Because you're following a diluted plastic version. Let's be honest. So when we say the early Da'watul Najdiyah, when we say Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab, and you can go to Takfeeris Tendencies Part 3, why are you alarmed or why are you shocked that that brother went and joined ISIS? Why are you surprised? Because he is going back to the original Dawah. He is going back to the original roots. You, on the other hand, and your likes, are following a diluted, bogus version. Takfiriyun, you know, absolute bloodthirsty monsters, as I explained in Takfeeris Tendencies Part 3. Part 4 is coming soon as well. Got another one coming after this, you know, I think, I'll put the thumbnail, what's it called? I forgot what it's called, but you can see the thumbnail. So, I'm going to keep you guys busy. You know why I'm consistently recording about this matter? Because this cognitive dissonance that we're finding from you, and your likes, Mentally Deranged Freak and others, Abdurrahman Hassan, Da'waman Shamsi, all of them, these videos are going to show and leave no doubt, because it's so much evidence. I can't fit it on one video, otherwise I'll be here for hours, and I can't. I've got responsibilities. You understand? So let's be sincere, my brother Abdurrahman, or I don't think they're Abdurrahman, Knowledge North. Let's be sincere that any Takfiri, extremist, radical that joins Dawa'ish or joins any Mutatarrifun, they are only staying true to the principles of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. So please stop this hypocrisy, stop this double standards. Peshawar, Kunduz, Jalalabad, Iraq, Syria, all these indiscriminate attacks, all these bomb attacks, all these mosque attacks, all these attacks on innocent civilians, they are following, all of these extremist groups are following Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. So when are we going to hear you admit that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab is a Takfiri and a radical and an extremist? When are we going to hear that? Refute the Takfiriyun all day long, because you're indirectly refuting Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. Okay? And if you want to justify it, then you become Qazi Takfiris. Oh no, no, no. And then you bring those kalam of the Salaf, those general kalam from the Salaf. Don't worry about it. We're going to deal with that as well. We're going to deal with that as well, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in another video. I'm going to release one more video before Ramadan. Ramadan's in about a week and a half. Usual practice for me that I don't record during the month of Ramadan. What I do is I shut off the camera, I stop the research, you know, I seclude myself. try to stay away from the online presence as much as possible. Obviously YouTube I shut off, but just generally I try to shut off from social media. And it's important for all of us. It's important for all of us to have that approach. That the month of Ramadan only comes once a year. It's a guest of Allah. You know, please do not fall short in this month. And it's always the case that we have to remind each other, you know, regarding our duties during this month. Increase upon our good deeds, increase upon our recitation of the Quran, you know, regular adhkar, be punctual during the Taraweeh, you know, join the Jama'ah, you know, be around the brothers, help out the community. It's a collective duty. So that's my, you know, advice. But there'll be one more video before bi'idhnillah. So I hope this video was insightful. Part 4 complete of who are the true followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab. As I said before, it's a Takfeeri bandits that we see manifested in our times today. And we got our part 5 coming soon, inshallah. So take care of yourselves. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad.
آمنت أن الآخرة لا بد يوما آتية كل الخلائق حاضرة كل السرائر بادية في موقف ما أعظم لم تخف منهم خافية والهول فيهم قد بدا الشمس منهم دانية في موقف ما أعظم لم تخف منهم خافية والهول فيهم قد بدا الشمس منهم دانية